Hi and welcome back. Something that we are going to look at in this video is pretty mental, and a lot of people in the Python community don't really understand how this works. And that is that you can use the yield statement to receive data as opposed to only give it back. Here's an example. We're going to define a greet function, and this is going to say friend equals yield. Wait, what's going on here? Well, let's have a look. Then we're going to print hello friend. So this looks weird, it looks bizarre, and it looks weird to me too. But what's happening is we're going to say friend is equal to suspend the function. And then we're going to print out the value of friend. And this has been designed this way in Python so that we can suspend the function, but then also receive a value after we resume it. And the value we receive is going into friend, and then we can print that out. Here, we're going to say g equals greet. And the first thing we have to do is run the function up to right before the yield. So we can say g.send none. This is called priming the generator, priming the generator. And what this does is it sort of runs it up to right before the yield, and then we can do g.send Adam, for example. This is what's going into the yield, and the function is then going to assign Adam to friend, and we're going to continue here. Let's run this file. Okay. So we get a couple of things. We get hello Adam, so that's awesome, this works. But of course, we also get stop iteration, because there is a yield here, which means this is a generator, and the generator ends after we print. There's no sort of repetition, there's nothing else to yield, so we get a stop iteration because that's the end of the generator. So this receiving through yield is weird, but it's actually what makes asynchronous Python development possible. Let's look at another example right now. We're going to have our deck. Then we're going to have our friends, which is going to be a deck of Rolf, Jose, and so forth. And then we are going to have a friend upper function. This is going to say, while we have friends in our deck, we're going to say friend equal friends dot pop left dot upper. So it's going to get the leftmost element of friends, it's going to remove it from the deck, and it's going to turn it all to uppercase. This is the way of doing that in Python. Then it's going to say greeting equal yield, and it's going to print greeting friend. Okay. So this is very strange the way this looks. It's going to loop over friends, going to get the first friend and turn it to uppercase, and then it's going to suspend the function until we receive a value here through the yield. And the value we're going to receive is some sort of greeting. And then when we receive that value, it's going to print out greeting and the friend, and then it's going to repeat again, popping the next friend of the list, of the deck, and then waiting again for some data to come through this yield. So the function is going to suspend at this point until we get some more data, and then when we do, that data is going to be assigned to greeting, which is then going to be printed out and so forth. Okay? And then we're also going to have a greet function again. This function is going to prime the generator by sending none to it. So again, it's receiving a generator here, which is going to be this friend's upper here. And it's going to send none to it to prime it and bring it up to the first part of the yield here, just before the yield. And then while true, is going to again take a greeting and yield it and send it over to the generator that was passed in as a parameter. So very weird stuff going on here. Let's finish off the code to see if this makes any more sense. We're going to create a greeter variable, which is going to be greet. and we're going to pass it in a generator, which is going to be our friend upper generator. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to prime the greeter generator. So we're going to do greeter.send none. Again, you know what this does. It just moves the generator up to before the yield. So greeter.send none is going to move the generator up to here, running this primer. So it's going to prime friend upper, and then it's going to stop right before the yield. Then we're going to do greeter.send hello. This string here is going to go into the yield and be assigned to greeting, and then it's going to be sent to friend upper, which is our G. When we do that, that's going to be assigned to greeting. Remember, it was primed earlier on, and then it's going to be printed out using this friend upper thing. Let's run this. There you have it. Okay, we print out hello Rolf, and that's it. What we've got ourselves here is some pretty amazing thing. None of these functions is running, but they're all suspended, allowing something else to run. For example, we could print hello world multitasking, and then greeter.send how are you, for example. We could run this again. And now you can see that we are multitasking essentially. First, we've got hello Rolf. Then we've got something completely separate from our chain of functions, even though they're running in a loop. And then we've got how are you Jose. And notice how this is taking data from this deck up here. If we have a bunch of this type of things running in a task scheduler, for example, instead of popping from friends, it could be requesting something from the internet, like some pages to scrape. You can see how these could potentially be used to divide up the work by using these yields. And it's pretty messed up, okay? But this is sort of how it works. And this is how Python asynchronous development works on the inside. Now, instead of doing all of this, we can actually do something which is, I don't like it, nobody in the Python community likes it, which is we can do yield from G. Okay? This, which we looked at before, was used to extract values from an iterator, actually can be used for two-way communication as well. It can be used to receive data and forward it to another generator. So here, when we send hello, it comes in here and it gets passed over to G as well. And then it can be used, and then whatever value then gets returned back. So this is another way of writing exactly the same that we had before. Okay, so this send none and sort of repeat constantly yielding things and sending the value can be replaced by yield from G. Okay? So we can easily chain these generators. And when you have generators that receive data, they're really no longer called generators because they're not generating anything. Now they're receiving data and doing something with it. So from now onwards, this type of generator shall be known as a coroutine. Okay, and in Python they're known as coroutines because they take in data and they can be suspended. So that's a coroutine. In the resources section of this lecture, we've got some further reading. It is advanced. So take your time. I don't expect you to be flying through this section by any means. Okay, I expect you to be reading through the extra resources. There's a very long course there on coroutines and concurrency from David Beasley. That's really good. If you're not that keen on sort of knowing everything there is to know about concurrency in Python, feel free to sort of skip through it. But if you want to really understand what's going on behind the scenes, then do read all the further reading and resources that I link you to. So that's it for this video. Hopefully this was interesting, and I'll see you on the next one.